Okay, folks, we are live. Hey, everyone, and today is Engineering Day. That's the reason why we have all of the star engineers that you probably know about from various, yeah, they're all YouTubers, and you probably recognize them already. On the starting with Shashank. Shashank is you're not a engineer, are you? Just a data engineer, right, Shashank?
That comes like engineering category itself. Yeah, that I'm someone who is not working core for the software in engineering part, right? We're building those microservice architecture and all. But yes, I am an engineer.
Okay. Oh, no, I
He
was just
solves
joking, by the way.
problem.
Shashank is, huh?
He solves problem. That's why
Which
he's
around
at.
Yeah, I think
around the data.
I
Yeah.
guess I guess the company which pays you must be doing it because you solve a lot of problems for them, and you're a senior data engineer. So I think it's really awesome. So yeah, I was trying to you know anyway. Now there's also of course Yogita Sharma. You may not know her as Yogita Sharma. She's better known as Pseudocode. Uh, she's an engineering manager at Kareem, and lot of you folks will recognize her, I'm sure. The other person over here is Sanket Singh. Sanket is working in a little less known company called Google. Some of you might recognize that also.
They need some brand ambassador.
Yeah, I think maybe a few Google paid ads will help you. And then there is us. So that's the agenda of this talk is basically to talk about engineering, talk about the common doubts that you might have in engineering. What does an engineer actually do is something that we are still trying to figure out. But I think we have a decent idea now. But you might have those questions, and we'll try to answer them to the best of our abilities. At the end of this session, what we want is we want to have a nice conversation, some fun questions from you and from us. I've noted some down for Yogita, Sanket, and Shashank to answer. But yes, let's start this engineering day meet. So, firstly, if you have any questions, please post them on Slido. I have the link over here. I'll paste it again. And there is a poll also that we're taking. What type of engineer are you? Yogita, Shashank, Sanket, do you want to try that poll? I'll just share my screen. Let's see what type of engineers we have here. Okay.
Who created this poll, Gaurav?
Huh?
Yep, I have answered it.
Okay. Well, I'm done computers, so I'll give computers. Okay.
Yeah, I voted as well.
Oh my god. Okay. Slightly biased, yes.
Looks like the political situation.
Yeah, almost all of us are computer. Oh, there's somebody in
Well,
electrical.
Computer or IT?
No, the electrical 5%.
We technically say electrical is like, I'm not sure. It's kind of like a parent branch for computer and IT only, right?
Yeah, they say that.
They say that.
Many universities have electrical and computer science as like one domain, especially
Yes.
for bachelor's.
Recently, I'm not sure if anyone in the comments know this, uh, but there's a data science engineering stream which is starting. Have
Is
you
it?
seen that? Yeah,
In-
yeah. Computer
in
engineering. Yeah, in colleges.
Wow.
Yeah.
Computer-
It's
Yeah. No, not even masters. Like I'm talking about BTech. BTech in data science, and data and something, data and machine learning engineer.
So, okay, colleges are also going around the hypes. Great.
In Triple IT
Is it-
Delhi. In Triple IT. So,
Triple IT
just
Delhi.
like Triple IT Delhi.
Are they? Is it a hype? Or you might also someone else has also joined us just now. A few of you might know
Hello.
her, or maybe
Hello.
too many of you know her. Kirti Kurswani, yes, she's a very popular engineer from. Recently, she's joined Atlassian, another little known company. I mean, after Google, yes, Atlassian is also sometimes heard. Yes, yeah, Expedia also you might have heard to book travel. Most popular, of course, is interview ready amongst all these companies.
Yes, of course.
but but yes, Kirti, you are an engineer from. In fact, I'll just share the poll link over here. It's in the chat. And Kirti, what type of engineer are you?
I am actually an electrical engineer, electrical and electronics. So it was the worst kind, like where we had no time at all, we had no life at all. So it
Oh
made
my
me
God.
pretty much hate my college life. So how many electrical engineers are here? Can you understand the feeling? You know, the amount of lab records and the amount of nonsense that we have to go through.
Kirchhoff's law. Your life is Kirchhoff's law.
And I
Did
really
you
tried to like it. I really, really tried to have some interest in it. Like some people, yeah, they do have genuine interest, but I absolutely hated it.
did you study fast Fourier transform as well, Kirti?
Yep, in detail,
My condolences.
multiple semesters.
Whoa. So
But
is it really? Matlab, is it fast Fourier transform? Is it really useful? Like, do you
Yes, yes,
use
I
it?
use it in everyday life. I use it in Atlassian also.
I meant to say, as a electrical engineer, is it something like sorting for a computer engineer? Is it something like that? No, that we use it, but we don't really care about it because their life is nothing like that. That's
Plus,
that's sad.
I don't think I can call myself an electrical engineer. So yeah.
Okay, we were talking about this. There's a new stream which has come up: data science and machine learning engineering. What are your thoughts on this?
I just got to know that my college also introduced it.
Exactly, my college has also introduced it. Yeah.
So, I'm not sure, like, uh, uh, why
I
was there.
I would definitely say that would be a biased decision towards the data science and ML. Again, that's why I said like hyped, overhyped, because if let's say even colleges are planning for let's say something into data, then it shouldn't be directly data science or AI/ML. Probably just uh, introduce the students or upcoming generation of engineers to every aspect of data, not just data science and ML. Probably introduce them to the data analytics as well, data engineering as well, and the different divergence we have, right? If there is a specific stream, just only data science and AI/ML, then like not everyone is so capable to catch the crux of the data science AI/ML, the whole depth of it, right? So just pushing that one as a specific stream even will create a lot of mess. That's what I think.
Yeah, I also believe, because like till now also all there were a lot of companies who used to hire software engineers and data scientists both from BTech like Flipkart and all, and the eligibility was just like computer science, IT, C, I guess. So I don't think they used to have a any kind of eligibility criteria for a specific degree, and
Yeah.
it creates definitely a bias that like it looks attractive. Like I still remember in 2015, 2016, there were a few colleges who used to give BTech in computer science plus cybersecurity or plus information security kind of a thing. Some students are also mentioning that. So it looks fancy, but I guess on and all you just need to learn basics and get hang of the computers. I guess that's enough. So, but not sure. Maybe they must have thought it through.
I would beg to differ here because data machine learning and the foundations of data science are actually quite old. They go way back in 60s, all the research that has been done. It was not useful up until a few years ago because of the kind of machines that were available. Now, with the heavy computing machines, it's actually possible to implement those algorithms and put them to real life use. But the problem that data science and machine learning industry faces right now is they want to hire people who have done some work or who have had some exposure, and most of the job postings, if you will go and see, will say 4 years of experience or PhD or masters. So if someone is interested in that field and they can study that itself in university, and they don't study computer science or software engineering, it is better for those people to directly go into the industry with that sort of skill set. Because if you try to find out an overlap between a data science and ML engineer and a software engineer, that overlap is just the problem solving. They don't write as much code as software engineers do, but they do a lot of problem solving and algorithm development on different data sets. Most of their programs run on GPUs. So that's a different discipline altogether. So from a perspective of preparing people better suited for jobs in future, it is a good decision. But I do agree with Shashank's point on that, yes, they should have exposure to data analytics and other fields as well, because not everyone would be equipped enough to go into the crux because it is very hard. There is a lot of mathematical background that goes into it. But if people are interested and they put in effort in the 4 years of their engineering, it would be better that they would go job ready. Otherwise, they will spend 4 years again after engineering to go into a data science or ML job.
Makes sense.
Do
Agree.
you okay, Yogita? That's an interesting take. Do you think that when computer science came out of electrical engineering, when it became a specialized branch, that time there was a similar argument, and this had a valid viewpoint that electrical, I mean, computer science is not just electronics in a very specific applied way. And now we are the computer engineers, like all of us are computer engineers.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
We have our own discipline because there is a demand in the industry for that. It was not possible to have so many web applications and cloud applications in the absence of the computing power that we have today. Now that computing power has also grown in the direction of GPU, plus that much uh, we have that many use cases now to have actual solutions to those problems, because the world moves on, right? 100 years ago, nobody needed robot delivering their food or groceries or your Amazon packages. But in future, that's a possibility, and that's why, like, with that growth, that industry has grown, that domain has grown, and that's why that discipline has come out. So that people don't waste their time learning computer science and then again go and learn machine learning and then become an ML engineer. They can do that right from the start.
What I'm finding very interesting here is Shashank actually saying that this is not, I mean, may not be very necessary. That's one of the things that happened initially with the electrical engineers who were good at computer science. So Shashank is in the data science field already, in the data engineering and collection, and then how do you find analysis. So for him, maybe it's a day-to-day kind of thing, and he feels like it's unnecessary to study it specifically. Initially, when the computer engineers were being put in college as a subject, a lot of the electrical engineers who were doing computer science felt the same thing, that this is just hype. I have used electrical engineering and I'm good at computer science. And it's an interesting look. I think we are part of history in that way.
Yeah, sort of.
In
Also,
fact,
sorry. I was just saying that right now it's the season where people are choosing their branches, right? The new people who are just come out of school. So I have seen so many people just take CS because there's no scope in any other branch, like in civil, electrical, mechanical. In none of those branches they feel like there's any enough scope or they are going to earn well because the opportunities are so less. It's interesting how CS came out of electrical, but now it is like the branch that will get you a good job, that will pay you. And there is no other branch that will actually give you so many opportunities, even electrical itself. So that's a very interesting way how things have turned out. And maybe data science and MLAI takes a similar turn in future.
so do you think a similar thing will happen in data science? Do you think that as GitHub Copilot comes in and other things come in, our software engineering, principles and skills, many things which are manual or not very intelligent, let's say, are taken up by AI, and then only finding insights and finding patterns is what we care about?
Definitely not anytime soon, but in long term, if I think about it, a lot of manual things are gonna go, I think, because of MLAI. Don't you guys think so?
For sure, for sure.
GitHub
Because
Copilot, what do you think about that? It's insane. How many of us? I mean, uh, Kirti, have you seen GitHub Copilot? At work or as a side project or something? I've seen
I
that, and I'm like, my God.
I haven't used it much, but like even I've worked in big companies and good companies, and I've seen a lot of manual work still happening over there. Like most of the companies, it still happens. So I've heard about GitHub Copilot. I haven't used it, but I think it has really good scope.
Okay, this I'll just introduce the topic then, this because this is very interesting. Uh,
Yeah.
I was taking an interview, and I said that this is what you need to do. Okay, you need to build this small piece of code, and the person said, "Can I use GitHub Copilot?" I said, "Sure." They wrote a comment and said, "Find the largest number in this, and create an object for this," and the whole code came in one shot. It was fine. It was right. It's not like maybe the edge case is wrong or something. It's just, can you imagine that? That's like
Did
that's
you
one
hire
case.
the guy?
Yes, I didn't hire the person, not because their code was not right. I didn't hire them because of other reasons. Yes.
What were your reasons?
So apart from coding skills, there is also communication skills and technical skills. Okay, and if you are not making the bar right now, there's nothing to worry about. Uh, you know, Sachin Tendulkar also did not get selected in the Indian cricket team in one shot, and this is something which requires a lot of practice. So of course, getting selected in the Indian cricket team is much harder than getting selected at interview ready. But having said that, it is, if you ever miss out on something, there's something you can improve on. So communication skills are there, technical skills are there. In that sense, GitHub Copilot can't help you much with your understanding of internals of how something works.
You can't
But
really
still,
judge technical skills if someone's using GitHub Copilot, right?
mm, I actually saw a person using GitHub Copilot and make a mistake. I mean, it made a mistake for him, and he didn't catch it. So it's a rare thing. But
Yeah.
okay, let's. We have some really pending questions. Sorry, I took us on a tangent. When will the hiring freeze lift? Not many options to apply for. Okay, as an engineer, especially software engineer, what do you guys think? Does any of your companies have hiring freeze?
We
Yes.
are hiring so much. Like like we have to take interviews almost every day. There are updates like 4, 5 interviews we're taking every day. So definitely no freeze in my company.
There is
Same.
kind of like a freeze in the business.
So Sanket, I know you can't comment on the interns and everything, but do you think in general in the industry there is some sort of a reduction in hiring?
So there are two things. There are two cases that have happened. I believe there are few cases in which they are still trying to see what the upcoming, I would say, few months are going to perform for them, and it's kind of like a temporary freeze for them, and then they are going to continue. But there are few companies who bear some losses because we saw few news of offer letters getting revoked, so and those kind of things. So I believe that's a bit more deadly. uh, uh, like when someone is applying, I believe they must look at what is the situation of the company. Are they really doing good? Because in the past few months I saw a bunch of news where a lot of students got offer letters. They like were serving their notice, and then they were said that your offer is no more valid, and few layoffs and all those kind of things happened. So there is, I believe there is some kind of shakiness, of course, in the market, but I believe there are still options. Like I today only saw some hirings for Microsoft and all. Kirti just said their company is hiring in a good manner. So if people need to like keep an analysis on how the company is performing, there are few hiring freeze, but I think still decent amount of people are still getting jobs.
Every other company that we are talking about is still hiring. Shashank, are you, like, very important to note? Shashank, Yogita, Kirti, and Sanket are not speaking for their companies. They are speaking as engineers in their individual capacity. But I mean, what is public information is public information. So, like Kirti said, Atlassian has no hiring freeze. They are going ahead and they are not having any issues. Shashank,
I think I
Yogita, is it?
can also mention that I also got calls from a lot of companies recently. So, like, I did get interview calls from like 4, 5 companies in last 1, 2 weeks itself. So, it is like and good companies. So, I don't feel the freeze so much. But I do hear it a lot in messages and comments, but I don't feel it personally. So,
Few people are still getting calls from Google also. So like as I said, it's like not a very like strict or something. I believe
yeah.
like I heard hear a lot from a lot of friends that they are still getting calls and all. Few people are still pending. So there are again depending on case to case. I believe things are a bit shaky, but I don't think it's like extremely freeze. Like there are no jobs or something. I don't think that's that. Yes.
Yep.
Okay, so if there is no, and what do you think about startups now? From a lot of people ask me this question, that's why I'm asking. Many, many people get hired by a startup, and then they say the market is, not stable. This is at least a perception, because many startups recently had a lot of layoffs. So if you were hired in a startup now, let's say, and the offer is good and everything, and theoretically, I know many of you are not interviewing, or maybe none of you are interviewing, but theoretically, you got a job offer, money is good, stay is good, but it is a startup. Will you will you prefer that versus a established company, or which one will you prefer?
See,
Uh,
actually, yeah, please go on, Yogita.
Go ahead, go ahead.
No, no, I have been talking. Please go ahead.
I would, thanks, Kirti. I would not choose joining a startup at this point of time because of the priorities, personal work-life balance, etc. But if I know that I have enough bandwidth to, say, put in 10, 12, 14 hour days, and the startup is building something that I align with, then I might go for it. But in this phase of life currently where I am, I would choose maybe a big org like Kareem, where I can have work life balance. But that's my personal opinion, and it might vary person to person.
And plus one for Yogita's answer, same reason from my side as well. So at this, yeah, the phase, I think phase wise, right? The when the priorities get changed, then we also look into that direction. What will work out in terms of the work life balance, and also in terms of the work as well, right? So if things are aligned with your learnings, because I have a mixed experience working everywhere most of the time, service based firm, and in the Paytm it was a startup culture, right? So I have seen that environment as well. And after that, when I figured out, yes, what will work, I need work life balance as well. I also need that sort of company where you like, since I belong to data engineering side, so before joining to Expedia itself, I was mostly working on the batch systems, right? The whole batch processing in the data engineering. So this time, when even I was making my next switch, I also had offers from good companies, but I was stick to that direction. No, I will pick that kind of company. Doesn't matter it's a startup or something, where like I can upskill myself in terms of my new learnings, right? So this time I mostly wanted to work on real-time data engineering applications, or to build that kind of system. So I prioritize Expedia in that aspect. And since, yeah, on top of that, one thing was always there, the work-life balance. So I heard a lot about the work-life balance and the good culture, working culture at Expedia. So yeah, based on the priorities and the phases of the life, this thing will also get changed, whether we should go for startups or the well established organizations.
One thing I would like to add over here that both Shashank and Yogita talked about their own preferences, and uh, because we are all like people who have considerable amount of experience in the industry, maybe that is our phase of life right now. But our reasons are completely different. It is not hiring freeze. I've seen a lot of freshers worry about hiring freeze, and for freshers also the worry can be that okay, if they lose the job, in a startup, then it is harder to get a job. But if you have like 1 year of experience, 2 years of experience, and if you have the confidence in yourself, then I think all of us would highly recommend that if you can take out the time, then do have the experience of working in a startup also, and don't worry so much, because in long term it will like teach you a lot. In most of the cases it will. And if you have the skills, then I personally don't think you should be worrying so much about hiring skills if you have the skill set, if you are confident on yourself.
Okay. Interesting take. In fact, I'll just pick on that a little bit, Kirti. There is a statistic which says that 90% of the engineers in India are not employable. Okay, now that's a lot of engineers. 90% of anything is big, but engineering, we have a lot of engineers. What do you think is happening here? Are we not creating good engineers? Is it that we have very few companies? Are the companies asking very basic things, very advanced things? 90% not employable. What's going on here, right? And all of you are employed, so you're already in the top 10%, let's say. So what is exceptional about this?
So for
Not
this
just
one,
top 10. Just saying that it's not just top 10%, it's I think less than 0.5%, considering salary and everything. I also read the stats about the salary structure and everything, and I'm sure like at least us, we all come in top 1% and all. That there is a huge gap. Sorry, Shashank, you were saying something.
yeah, yeah, I think I was about to come on that point. So, Gaurav, on this thing, what I would say basically, this gap is creating, and mostly I would say this is from the company side itself, the way they are hiring, right? So, let's say even if you want to create good engineers, right? So, if the procedure of hiring should also get changed in that direction, where you are not expecting too much theoretical aspect, or let's say even the college students are too much around the curriculum and just working on old school projects and copying something from here and there just to get the good grades, or even to crack the placements. It should be around the practical things which are actually required in the companies to build a product or to work on something. Because as an student, I have also made those kind of mistakes. I have seen that phase where I was just too much stick around the curriculum, because I was thinking, okay, companies will ask the coding part and they will ask something related to OS and all these fundamentals. I'll be done with the interviews and they will hire me. So that was the perception. And I think if companies even want to hire good engineers, they also need to change their thoughts, because that way even students will get a push. Let's say if I don't work on good realistic projects, or we don't learn something which is demanded in the industry, that way I will not get hired. So students will also think, yes, we need to push ourselves to learn things which are currently in the market. So that is one thing which I even faced as a student. And when I was moving into different companies, I saw that part, like they are just stick, okay, basic things, get it done and you are hired.
So Shashank, you think? I mean, do you think companies need to change their interview process, or would you say
not
the
not,
college needs
not
to?
exactly the change, quality. Yes, exactly, the good word would be the quality, right? So the way they should hire the candidates, it should be more around the practical understandings, not just the theoretical aspect or anything. They should prefer the old school, as I said, the projects or something, right? Let's say same vegetable app, e-commerce application and all these things. Yes, these are obviously good starting point, right? Not everybody can create a very, let's say, a crisp production level application in their college time, but at least they can definitely learn the crux or what all things, right, which are going in the industry. And even explore the different aspects of the industry as well, right? Don't just, let's say, okay, you know about software engineering, so you will explore only software engineering profile. There are very like other aspects as well, right, in the industry. So explore that one. Maybe that expertise is something which companies are looking for, and you can add value in their team and in their products. So this is something, right, where companies needs to also think about what should they do, so that students are pushing themselves, uh, to make themselves eligible to get hired by that company. That's how it should be.
So, okay, let us say that this is a panel. All five of us decide today that we will change the interviewing process, and we will prove it through by coming up with a better process of interviews. How do we make interviewing more practical? Shashank, you had an idea that ask them to create a small project, see if they know, if they understand the concepts deep down. Uh, Let me try to bring in a counter argument that if I ask them to do this in a 1 hour interview, then they are not able to do a good job. So what should I do?
In that cases, right? So something like a mini hackathon basis hiring, right? Not say that you need to spend 1 hour. Even I have seen in my college companies do a campus visit for 2 days. Like one day they'll spend on, let's say, simple coding test and all, and another day they will just doing face-to-face interviews, right? So why not just give that environment? Okay, you have these 2 days, just build something solid, right? And whosoever will get selected, right? Whatever filtration criteria you have for the projects and all, just have a face-to-face discussion. Then even that round, right, since you have checked their like product building or software building abilities, now test them on their basics and fundamentals also, though those are something which are really important, right? You cannot avoid the coding part or knowing the system designing aspects and the building blocks of these computer science fundamentals, right? But at least in that way you will give them an environment. If you are visiting any campus for 2 days, why just visit for having a simple not simple I would say, but the coding route and system design and the fundamentals. But if you are investing that much amount of time, then invest it in a right manner, having a mini hackathon sort of thing and evaluate on that basis.
I have a question over here. Don't you think it is more responsibility of colleges than of companies to make sure that okay, engineers are of the levels? If you think from a company's perspective, they themselves have like certain goals. I don't think they can hire good engineers from those 10% people, right? It should be like the work of that 10 of entire education system to get the engineers ready and not of the companies as such. What do you think? Like,
No, I,
who
yeah,
is
I agree. I agree. College's responsibilities is way bigger than anything, right? But see, I will follow as a student what I will see. Okay, companies are asking coding, companies are asking OS related questions, oops, fundamentals. I should prepare myself in that direction. And same thing, even like colleges will also try to do the same thing. Okay, let's prepare our students in that manner so that like let's try to create our curriculum in that manner. Okay, students can get hired by companies, right, in big numbers. So even if companies will push themselves in different aspects of hiring the candidates and will change their criterias, then at least in that moment colleges also need to give a second thought. Okay, now it is a time to change our curriculum in more practical aspects, right? Remove all like something which is unnecessary and teach even students and upskill the teachers or even hire the teachers in that manner so that they can right teach things practically, more practically. So I mean this is
I have
something
a
which is bi-directional, not something this is the company's responsibility. If they will create some sort of environment in that way, what I feel, because if companies are just hiring on one benchmarking, then even college and students will prepare themselves accordingly.
I have a question here. What is it, just talking about computer science branch, what is it that computer science branches don't teach that companies ask for freshers?
Is that a question
Um,
for me, Yokita?
For everyone.
I guess
Because
everyone.
we are
Yeah.
saying that colleges are not preparing students. Colleges are teaching DSA, yes. Databases, yes. Operating systems, yes. Networks, yes. Companies are asking same thing. DSA, databases, operating systems, yes. So what is it that the colleges are not teaching, which companies are asking?
the hackathons that we talk about, the real hackathons, the real projects. I'm not sure, I'm not from CS branch, but I don't think it really happens that much in the colleges. In most of the colleges, I don't think it happens. And when it comes to DSA and all, it is taken more as theory than actual practicing the questions, which is actually expected in the interviews. So I think that is the gap over there.
I
I'm
am
not sure.
again, I would again disagree because again, for non CS branches, yes, that is the case. For CS branches, if you take DS and Algo courses, that is all what you have to do. Solve problems, go to labs, execute those problems, practice. That is the exact same thing that you have to do. As far as hackathons are concerned, many colleges have coding contests and coding clubs for those hackathons, for making people ready, right? For experienced folks, yes, I can understand. For experienced folks, like, you don't get to learn things like frameworks and full-fledged project development in college, but you do get to learn the fundamentals. So what is it that companies are asking, which colleges are not preparing students for? I would say that there is a supply demand gap. There is a lot of supply of engineers other than CS disciplines, and there are no jobs in those disciplines. For computer science, there are a lot of jobs. There are not as many jobs for electrical, for mechanical, for civil. And that's why those engineers also shift towards computer science, because there is more demand in computer science jobs. But the way of hiring, I'm really curious to know, like, what is it they ask that the colleges have not prepared people for?
I also totally agree with Yogita's point, and I believe the way of hiring and the colleges are not totally out of sync. Like I sometimes few months back, I got this question that like from a student that he was doing kind of like mobile development kind of thing, and in his college, companies just come to hire as a software engineer, right? Now, what the company should ask him or her, like in that case, that should be a good evaluator for his or her skills. Should they ask mobile development because he knows that? Then, in that case, what about the other folks who know something else? Maybe somebody in their college explored backend, somebody explored other React, something ML, DL, anything. So, colleges are definitely teaching these fundamentals, and I believe companies do ask these fundamentals to kind of like prepare a even level ground for everyone to start with. That just think about, no, that if a company is coming for hiring, and after the hiring maybe they want to evaluate more, they want to teach them a bit more and then evaluate them task. And that's how it generally is done also. uh, then on what metrics and what basis should they ask? Like, they can't allocate interviewer based on the student skills, right? So there should be some level playing ground. But yes, I totally believe with that this fact also, that the knowledge that we have in college, yes, Yogita, you said it right, that you have theory, you have practicals, you have code labs, you have coding societies that do the most of the work. uh, but I believe the coding society, the code labs and all are more for DSA part, because that's a lot of people think. I am not sure how many of you will agree that the same amount of focus in the colleges are given to computer networks, DBMS, OS also, and generally I've seen a lot of students, they just give focus on these 3 4 subjects just before they're into, like, in July the first company is coming, they're going to start studying that in June. So saying that education system and like companies, yes, they are also broken, but I believe there is one more question that we should ask, that are even students learning in the correct manner to be an engineer? A lot of students just
Thank you so
ask me
much.
how to get a job at something and how to get a job at this, rather than asking ki, Bhaiya, I'm learning Node. How can I learn advanced part of Node? I'm learning Java. How can I learn advanced Java? Rather than they're like, I'm learning Java. Is it good for Amazon? So there is like uh, something that the students also need to take care about. And
That is
definitely,
Very
that is that is fundamentally broken, because the Indian education system, the CBSE, ICSE boards, that is fundamentally broken, because we are always taught to focus on the results, the A
yes,
grade, B grade, 90%, 95%. We are never taught how to focus on the process. And even in engineering colleges, the curriculum is designed in a way that you can actually cram it in 3 or 4 nights and still pass. That is something which should change. If you study in foreign universities, I don't want to like swap bring that into conversation, but the courses that I have studied, there is no way I can skip studying. There is no way. The amount of assignments and the projects and the way the curriculum is designed, it forces you to study every day. If you skip studying for 7 days, you're definitely going to fail. So that curriculum is missing from our colleges, which makes students to just focus on getting the job, and they know that we can just study two nights before the exam and pass the exams, and then finally we will go for job. But as Sanket said, that if there are societies, or if there is proper learning for other subjects as well, that this problem won't happen. So it is, I think it is a shared responsibility on everyone's part, the students, the colleges, the companies.
And to answer Gaurav's original like main question, that what one thing we would like to introduce to like make the hiring process better. I'm not sure if fixing it would be a correct thing. So I would say maybe introducing something like a debugging round. I'm not sure how much time it's going to take, and in a 5 minute conversation, I don't think we'll be able to think it through that what should be the correct way of executing it. But debugging, I'm not sure about rest of you guys, but debugging is something that I have definitely spent a significant 40% of time during my work in internship, open source, full time. Debugging is something that we have to do. If not for our task, maybe for others when we are helping them, when we are working in a collaborative environment. Debugging is something that one should know rather than writing the whole. Because I've seen like if in big project there are a lot of code already written. A lot of them you have to just take reference, but the main part is to debug like how the flow is going, how the API call is going to go inside. So debugging is definitely we should somehow introduce. Not sure how. Maybe we can think about it just for answering Gaurav's question.
Yeah, I think some very interesting thoughts. One thing I was talking to some uh, about this earlier, like we talked about the education system a bit. The syllabus, like Yogita mentioned, seems to cover everything. The students seem sufficiently motivated, like Sashank was saying, to get a job. So, is it possible, and this is maybe easy for me to say, that the teacher quality is poor across India, except let's say the IITs and the NITs and some good colleges? In general, the teacher quality is poor, and
The
I'm not blaming
teacher,
all teachers.
yes.
Yeah.
The teacher pay itself is so poor, the salary is so poor that it is the last resort of anyone's career. That,
Yes.
because I don't think people get paid enough. And imagine a teacher's point of view teaching kids who might get jobs of like 30 LPA, 50, 20 LPA in 6 months, and they're teaching, and they are earning not even half of that. Like, so I can't even imagine their thought process of that. So I think the salary itself is a huge problem, and
Yep, yep.
colleges invest so much in creating the infrastructure, in creating like AC environment, but they hardly invest in a teacher's salary. So unless you give a teacher enough money, how do you expect like for them to be, taking the job seriously or actually considering students' futures?
Yeah,
Completely
salary.
agree with Kirti. If there would have been good teachers in colleges, maybe we wouldn't have been running YouTube channels.
Really,
But
Yogita, even in
now
the
the
US,
question is the question like how to even create good teachers in that, like just to increase the monetary part will suffice everything, or there should be another element to create quality teachers. What should be the
The
criteria in that?
moment you increase the bar, the more skilled, the more educated people will come forward and they will take their job more seriously. Like in the end, I think that is the lower most level. That is the key problem. Like unless they can run their own life, be independent with that money, why will some skilled person actually do that full time?
But even that case, right, not everyone can become a good teacher, right? Because passion is something which is also involved in teaching, because this is not a typical, let's say, engineering job or something where you have lots of glamour, okay, traveling and all these things, nothing, right? So there should be passion also involved apart from the monetary part, let's say paying 2 lakhs, 3 lakhs, whatever it is. But if even the teachers are not passionate enough to acquire these skill sets in right manner to teach the, or even to give the quality education to these students, then how should be like this gap should be fulfilled?
so Shashank, here's what I have a theory. Um, you will India is a large country. You will find good teachers. You are finding so many YouTubers who teach reasonably fine. I'm sure there are better teachers out there. who are doing it full time. So if you give them enough pay, they will stay. Is one way to think. You're right that, oh, so here's 1 crore, teach these students and it's wonderful. I think it's also a continuous process. Maybe we should take feedback from students. How did you like the lecture? Give me a rating. What do you want to see next? We never ask the students, at least I have never seen any teacher ever being held accountable for a bad lecture or a poor lecture or a 1 star. And this is, by the way, the teachers, I don't think teachers are against this. It's just not in their mechanism. Like in Google, if Sanket performs great, he'll get a good appraisal. If he is sick or something, then his appraisal may reflect that. So while in teachers, the biggest customer, the student, is not having any voice only to tell them, to give them good critical constructive feedback. So syllabus, I think lot of people focus on the syllabus. That's a thing. When it comes to teaching as a process, I have seen the American universities actually do this really well. Yogita, you mentioned some processes that they have. I'm sure they
Yeah,
have
yeah.
come. Yeah.
Every single lecture and every single section in every single course has a feedback loop. And every semester, let's say that same subject is delivered in spring, when same subject gets delivered in fall, there is a huge difference, because all the feedback that they have collected in 6 months is applied by that time. So the same course is not even same within 6 months. They will include every feedback given by the students and improve their processes continuously. One of the professors, David Joyner, he's actually writing a book on the scalable teaching. And it is his and some other professors' idea to take this feedback, as you're mentioning, and improving the classes continuously.
And the problem here in India, right, if you give the feedback, so by the teachers, it will be taken personally, right, not as a constructive criticism. That even I have
Right,
something I have
right.
seen in my college itself. Right, if you give feedback or somehow even teacher got to know about, okay, this guy, okay, now you are in my radar. So that's how things actually happen here.
Yeah, I think we have to build it into the process. You're right, Shashank. Actually, even I have done that, and you're treated like a rebel, or you're, oh, so you want to be smart with me? Is that it? So it's it's difficult to maybe change that. Not every teacher is like that, but then the students are worried because you don't want to be in trouble.
I have been
Okay.
involved
Uh,
in places where this feedback mechanism was there, and it actually helped me to improve a lot. Rating mechanism, feedback mechanism, daily feedback mechanism was there. So yeah, definitely it works. I have seen myself improve a lot because of this. So it works definitely.
okay, and can you give an example on YouTube? You mean?
No, 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 not on
So
YouTube.
where? I mean, Triple IT. Where was it?
No, no. I when I was working with Intervit, I worked as software engineer as well as instructor for the academy. So there we used to have,
So private companies are doing this.
yes, at least when I was teaching.
That's very, very interesting, actually. Amazing. So this is okay. Any person who has just started engineering or is currently doing engineering, the question is quite vague. What would you like to tell them? Like, so I'll make it a little more specific. Um, what actually is an engineer? Can we describe that? Like, for example, we know that software engineers code, they do something. If you see type of a software engineer, it makes no, there's not that much relevance. It just looks like person is going, eating, coding, and everything. What is our primary responsibility or set of responsibilities? Why are we even getting hired? Why are they paying us? What is going on here? Are we, what value are we adding to any company actually?
So I think this is more in that way, like the solving a problem first and then implementing. I mean, that's what I think as an engineer. So it should be a general term, not let's say, okay, software engineer are doing, let's say, coding or something, but first they have solved a problem, right? Like the problem is statement given or company want to build something. So there are lots of brainstorming, multiple iterations on all those things, right? Then you come on to a conclusion and then you start implementing it. how to create it or how to build it on scale. So that is how I see it. Solving a problem, like if you call yourself an engineer, then first you are solving something, then you are implementing it.
Yeah, yeah. I have similar definition. Like the engineers have knowledge, tools, and problems, and they use those tools and knowledge to build solutions to those problems.
So Yogita, you're an engineering manager. You sometimes hire engineers. Um, what do you look for in a what is a good engineer according to you? Not necessarily that you hire. Sometimes somebody joins your team, or you want to grow the engineers who are with you. You want to help them in their career. What do you want them to do?
The basic requirement is, of course, being good at what they do. So their technical skills, their programming skills, problem solving, knowledge, curiosity, and passion to learn. Those are basics. Those everyone should have. But the apart from this, the next quality that I look for is how reliable they are. Can I rely on them to get something done? If they say that this will be done in so and so time, then even if it is not done, they should have given 100% effort to it. Like if I cannot count on a person, then it is very difficult for me to manage the expectations upwards and manage that engineer themselves. So reliability and someone who holds up to their commitments. That is the kind of quality I look for in engineers. But obviously, this comes with some experience. Like you cannot expect the fresher out of the college to do so. But I look for this, and apart from that, I look for communication and collaboration. How well can they communicate when they are facing problems? How well they can communicate their thoughts and solutions to others in the team, and how well they can collaborate with the team, because we all know software engineering is not a lone job. You have to work with different team members and different teams in order to build something. So these are two or three qualities that I check for apart from their fundamentals.
I have
Okay.
an interesting question for you, Gaurav. So your company name is Interview Ready. So you prepare people for interviews. How different would it be if you would be preparing someone to become a better engineer? Like, you are now focusing on interviews. What your focus would be if you were preparing someone to become a better engineer?
So it is like
I-
engineer ready.
Yes. How different would it be?
Yeah, no. So, interview ready. The idea is actually to make you engineer ready. So it becomes a side effect. Interview ready. You become interview ready. And we also have this joke internally that we say, "That's my secret, Captain. I'm always interview ready," which means you are at a level that you can just walk into an interview. That is where we want to take you. For that, what is our principle? Well, you need a place to learn concepts. You need certain courses to learn the theory. Okay, we currently do not have any practice, and I think 80% of being an engineer is practice. So I would say 80-20, 20% is theory, which we are providing right now. A platform to practice we don't have. And in my personal opinion, there is no platform where you can practice as an engineer nicely on projects or something. You have to do a lot of effort. So we are trying to build a platform for that. Uh, Finally, our other thing is getting hired, but that is very interview specific. It has nothing to do as an engineer. So maybe an evaluation, maybe when you are done with the practice and you're ready, we want to say you were here. You used to know about 30% of the concepts and you had practiced them. Now you're at 60%. You're a far better engineer. There are companies like Creodo, which help people move forward, learn new skills. Scalar is also in this space to some extent. Uh, and there are quite a few companies which are trying to solve this problem of making people better engineers. Uh, yeah, we are all in this space, and I think it's a very big problem. Like that's why there is no, in my mind, there is never a thought that, oh my god, there's already a company here which will eat into our space or something. I'm just like, this is such a big problem. From start to finish, you have to take care of every candidate, every person. So teach them concepts, make them practice, test them, and then finally show them this is what you have done. I'll take an example actually. Uh, as an engineer, what do you do? Usually you do some sort of problem solving, you do some sort of collaboration, and then you do some sort of testing whether it works. It can be mechanical, it can be civil, it can be computers. You do some sort of problem solving. Okay, so this is basically you brainstorming using your already known theoretical concepts in that engineering space to take a requirement sheet and converting into an engineering requirement sheet. Okay, collaboration using stuff like Jira or ticketing, speaking with people on Slack. And finally, testing. So testing is also done by mechanical folks for a bridge. You create a small model, a prototype, you show that this concept works, then you actually build part of it, show it step by step how things are happening. This is what engineering is, building systems which are designed to work. So if I take that for computer science, yes, I can do it in one way. Should we do that in colleges? Yes.
It would be helpful, I think.
Why aren't colleges doing it? They are usually much smarter than we give them credit for, actually, I think.
The biggest of the colleges do, because those are the colleges from where all these platforms show up. Like there are so many MIT and Stanford spin-offs which build those kind of platforms, and then they become open source projects and the companies buy it. But I like not all the colleges do that. So we need like people like you who are building for students in for the rest of the world, apart from like 10% or 5% students.
Okay, what is the problem here having, let's say, IIT Bombay become MIT? From a person from a completely, I have no idea of IIT Bombay also or MIT also. So I'm just thinking, what is stopping us from being one of the top universities in the world? Is it our processes? Is it our quality of students, quality of teachers, our syllabus, everything?
A little bit of everything, maybe. But even I'm not sure. I cannot comment.
Okay. That's I think it is a little too tough for a short talk. Someone is asking, I don't know if you guys want to take this. Please talk about imposter syndrome. What are some ways you deal with it? As it, yeah. Anybody faced
Interesting.
imposter?
This is a question that I get a lot. A lot. I get this on Insta and LinkedIn and all, and I feel this also a lot. I think I feel imposter syndrome like all the time that I am not enough. Others are doing so much. So I get it that you ask so much, but I think the way of dealing with it is different for different people. Like for some, it is like you take a break and you don't let this get to your head. Whereas for others, it is like you get to the work and you really start working more. For some people, it is like, you know what, I will stop using LinkedIn because I'm so tired of people getting in Google and Amazon. And for others, it is that, I'm going to see LinkedIn more for motivation. So it works differently for different people. So there's no one way. If you are like having serious issues and if you think that you are like really in trouble, then I would say get a professional help rather than asking us, because none of us are experts over here.
Uh, True, we are not experts. Can I do share 2 cents on this though?
Yes, of course.
Um, First, if you want immediate solution, uh, write every day what you are learning. Like journal your engineering work or wherever you're working. Write it every day. Do it for 2 months, 3 months, and then go back and read what were you doing 3 months ago and what are you doing today. The difference that you will see in your learning, if you're continuously learning, that will give you a lot of confidence. That is one. And second, imposter syndrome kicks in when you are stepping out of your comfort zone. That means you are getting challenged, you're doing something which you don't know, so take it as a challenge and an opportunity to learn. Do a perspective shift in your mind. In in psychology, it's also called a cognitive distortion. So just trick your mind to think that I am not good enough. From that thinking, go towards this is new for me and I need to learn it. And that's all.
Okay, there's another one, Yogita. I think Shashank, Sanket, Kirti. I think all and even I have faced a lot, and that is, uh, wait, someone had written the question clearly over here. I'll mark it. Okay, let's take this one first. Do internships help in campus placements? We just need a yes or no.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Everyone is agreed with this. Um, yeah. Yeah. Here's the one. Got it. Here it is. Yeah. Why are let's keep the question on the side. I'll tell you the gist of the question. I am from tier 3. I'm a victim. I mean, why aren't people hiring folks from tier 3 as much as they are hiring from IIT or NIT? So is it unfair? If I am there, then what do I do? I was young. I didn't study. It's not fair to not hire me now because I've changed as a person. These are many of the arguments. But what do you think about this thing that tier 1 versus tier 2 versus tier 3? Like, is it even real? And if it is, what can we do about it?
Can I say something?
Yeah.
So I was working with Intuit hiring team, and I actually pushed them that what we should do more tier 3 hiring, and then I had a meeting with the HR, and they told me, see, these are the number of people we want to hire. Now, when we go to tier 3 colleges, this is the amount of effort we will put in, and out of these many people, we will maybe they will like go in a they will go to maybe 5 6 colleges and get 2 3 people. Whereas if they go to IIT NIT, they are sure that from one single college itself they'll get more people, and they have to hire more people. They have less resources, they have less time, and it is not actually just their responsibility to make sure that everyone's getting good enough job. In the end, they have to keep their business running. And if you see from a company's perspective, if you were there in their place, you need people ASAP. You want to put in as less resources as possible. What is the quickest solution that you think of? Go to the colleges where chances are most. And the people who think of themselves as victims in tier 3, I think that is wrong, because the people who got in tier 1 tier 2, most of the people got it because they deserve it, right? I'm not talking about reservations and all, because that will become like a different discussion altogether. But if people are in tier 1 tier 2, they deserve it. So stop treating yourself as a victim. It might be harder for you to get in a good company, but it is definitely not impossible. There are many companies who are working towards it, but I don't think it's a company's responsibility to make sure that they will come to tier 3, they will come and give you an interview offer. You just have to make more effort. You have to build up a good enough profile and make yourself stand out.
And I believe they are doing good effort on off-campus hirings nowadays. It's not like the situation around 2015, 2016, 17. I guess there are decent amount of off-campus hirings or decent headcounts. People are getting referrals, like through referrals, LinkedIn. People are getting their chances. So I totally agree with Kirti's point. If you would be running a business and you have to hire someone, you have limited resource and limited time, what you will do. But yes, I believe the situation is not like very bad. Off-campus hirings are there, and to be very honest, for internships, like I didn't do internship in any MNC. To be very honest, I also applied just to Amazon and Microsoft. As far as I remember, I didn't get a reply, and I don't have anything for that. But I believe I did internship in small startups and all. They were easy. Like if you want to do internship, first thing should be you want to learn something. If you want to learn something, and if you're getting an opportunity even in a startup, that's an equal amount of learning, sometimes even better. Like Kirti, like few minutes back said, no, that if you get a chance to work in a startup, that's even better. So why not just get a chance in a startup and like move ahead with this? Slowly and steadily, your profile will grow, your LinkedIn will grow, your resume will grow, and companies will start noticing you in off campus opportunities, because there are ample opportunities nowadays. So there's no point of like just targeting everything around MNC, because there is a process. There is something called as process in MNC. They have to follow it. They can't like just break the chains and everything. But if you want, I believe startups can be a good way to start for at least internships. They give you a hell lot of work. If you want to code and like change everything, just go to a startup and pick a feature and start. I worked in a startup where we used to go in an office I'm not sure if you guys are from Delhi. So their office was a flat in Janakpuri. We were three backend engineers, all like third year. I was in second year. Other two were third year, and two Android engineers. Both of them were in second year. That's it. That was the whole team, and we built everything ourselves. Even the like CEO and all were non-technical, so it was our responsibility only. I'm not saying we made the best design, but we made the effort. If there was any mistake, we saw that, right? There were some tech advisors who used to like look at the overall thing and all, but they were not present there regularly. So it gave us good amount of, I would say, platform to showcase us that we are able to at least build a stable app. It's one thing to build a very big app. One thing is to build a stable app with respect to back end, front end, everything working. It gave me good amount of exposure, and I was happy with it. So I believe if you want to start with an internship, why you are caring even about MNCs? If startups are also doing that, MNCs are also doing that, then maybe you should start thinking that why everyone is doing that. I don't think startups do.
No, yeah, internship you can get anywhere. Okay, let's take one step back and look at the overall situation. Let's say computer programming. Okay, which college is the top college for computer programming? Is it? It's not a tier 3 college. I guarantee you that. It's some IIT usually. Okay, so that kind of proves a point. Wherever you go, wherever you're going for excellence, you'll get a high concentration of these individuals there. So you're not a victim. Yes. And yeah, that doesn't mean that your life is over, obviously. You have a lot of opportunities. I don't think Ratan Tata is an IIT, is he? Not sure. Yeah, neither but I'll tell you something. Julius Caesar was not an IITian. So, or a Google engineer. Yeah, but people know him. Shakespeare also, quite a few people know him. He didn't pass from JJ School of Arts, but we still read his books sometimes. So you
I
have a
thought you're
chance.
going.
Yeah.
I thought you're going to say Ratan Tata was not from IIT, and neither am I.
The day I compare myself to Ratan Tata is the day I know something is wrong. Something is seriously wrong. I think he's had a few lakh more people in his life. That's all. That's the major difference. Otherwise, not much.
Yeah, you'll get there.
Okay, folks. One last question that we'll take. By the way, getting a lot of positive, things about Sanket. When the teachers say that you should learn from Sanket Singh at MAIT. This is amazing. Also, there was a question on Yogita. When is your high-level design course coming out? It's like the audience is excited, so that's great. Let me see if there's one good question which fits this theme of everything. Okay, there is one question from Pakistan. Oh, I just removed it. Oh my god, I didn't do it on purpose. I swear. No. It's back. I'll put it back. Yeah. No, it's back. I'm so sorry. Oh, I again removed it. My god. Okay. This is now it's starting to look suspicious. No, wait. Okay, yeah, here it is. I'll take the gist of the question. The basic idea is if you are working remotely as a freelancer or as somebody who's working for a company, how do you set your resume or sell your skills the right way? Like if you are all working for established companies, if you were a freelancer and you wanted to show that hey, I'm an engineer for hire, where would you go? What would you do?
I would highly suggest LinkedIn, like build a good profile there. All the opportunities I've gotten till now are all because of LinkedIn. I never had to like try anything else only because that worked out so well. Uh, Other than that, build a good resume. Obviously, send it to people, communication skills. But my first choice would always be LinkedIn. Others can say what they think.
Yeah, I'll go
Yep,
with
same.
Kirti for this one. the LinkedIn one. Yeah.
Same.
LinkedIn is good
LinkedIn.
enough. I'm
What do
an
you,
ex-LinkedIn employee. I can definitely say a +1 to Kirti.
have you guys ever tried? When the internship didn't come, did you try LinkedIn? Is that where you got the jobs? Sanket, you were mentioning your internship. You got it from LinkedIn or somewhere else?
Uh, yeah, like even internships, full-time offers. Like if I talk about LinkedIn, specifically for LinkedIn full-time offer, I pinged someone on LinkedIn to refer me for LinkedIn. He referred me, and then I got a chance for an interview. So LinkedIn was like sufficient enough. Like a lot of people don't understand how to use LinkedIn. Like I believe just saying a hi or like just commenting on a post doesn't help, and the early you understand this, the better it is going to be for you. LinkedIn is a platform you have to learn, you have to spend some time, like I believe 2 to 3 months, that how people will respond you, what kind of people are going to respond you. Like just send a lot of requests, because not everyone is like, a lot of people keep on bombarding messages to same person. Just understand that just like you, at least 10 to 20 more people are bombarding them same messages. So you should to increase your probability, you should, like, at least this worked for me. To increase my probability, I used to ping more people. These kind of things also, I believe LinkedIn was good enough for me. uh, I, none of my full-time employment came outside LinkedIn. Like when I say outside LinkedIn, then I mean career portal kind of thing. I first point of contact somehow was LinkedIn.
Has anybody here tried any freelance thing? Like, no, right? No, neither have I.
No.
I have hired freelancers through Upwork and all, and I actually got to work with some really good freelancers via Upwork. So if there are some freelancers, you can definitely try that out. And it had a good process. Like, so the freelancer kept asking me for the feedback so that his rating improves. And they are like, you have to pay via Upwork only, so that it shows in Upwork that I have worked with so many people and there's credibility and stuff. So that was really good experience for me. It was something new.
Okay, okay. Yeah. I mean, especially because this question is from Pakistan or even from Bangladesh, they have the same issue. Not many payment gateways are there, so for them to actually get employment in a remote place is difficult. So one of the places, Fiverr, I think, does it. Upwork also, like you mentioned, Kirti does this. So it's interesting. Global economy. Russia also recently is having problems with that. Many developers in Russia are not able to, do that. Yogita, you're smiling. Any comment on that? Have you seen something in the chat which referred to you?
I
I think
was
there was something you
I
mentioned. Yeah,
I
yeah.
was reading the chat.
Okay, okay, folks. Anything else that you would like to talk about, or do you? I mean, is there any one question that you have which we should touch upon, or do you feel we have sufficiently uh, prodded and checked the engineering domain for today? Okay, this is exactly what happens even at the interview ready stand-ups. We awkwardly wait for a while and then we say, all right, then we are done. Super. Uh, Firstly, thank you, Kirti, Yogita, Shashank, Sanket, for coming at such short notice. And thank you everyone who's watching for coming at such short notice. We had an amazing time. I had a superb time talking about engineering and what the future is looking like and what the current is. So thank you for making this possible. And yeah, your thoughts before we close.
Please go like, share, subscribe to all the channels.
Oh yes, guys, if you don't
Plus
know,
one.
they're very popular.
Plus
So
one
I
for
don't.
that.
If you already, I mean, most of you already know, but let me go through each person. Sanket is a software engineer at Google. He creates content around software engineering, as you can expect. Uh, you can search for him. What's your channel name, Sanket? Is it Sanket Singh or is it something else?
Yes, Sanket.
Sanket Singh the Great, I think, is the channel name. Please search that on YouTube. software engineering for you. Shashank Mishra is a data engineer. This is slightly different from a software engineer, like many of you know. But it's more than just ETL processes. There was some guy on the chat who was asking, is it ETL processes? Yes, and more. Shashank has a channel which is not named Shashank Mishra. What is the channel name, Shashank?
Yeah, I'll type it in the chat box. E-learning
Yes.
bridge.
E-learning bridge. Here's the spelling.
Yes. I have typed it in the chat box.
Perfect. So Shashank talks about ETL processes, also about interviews, about hiring, about various ways in which people made it to the data science or even software engineering field. Amazing channel. Again, please do go and subscribe for the next video. Yogita, you may not know her. You probably do know her. Pseudocode is her name on YouTube and other places. Amazing channel, low-level design, high-level design, software engineering in general, fundamentals. There's a lot of stuff out there. Definitely worth subscribing. And even if just the content which is already out there is definitely worth watching. So do have a look and hit the like button when you can. And finally, we have Kirti also. Kirti is super popular in a channel named Kirti Kurswani. Okay. Recently, Kirti actually made another channel which is all about coding. So, what's that name?
That's code from scratch, Kirti Perswani. So that's only for DSA. So that's only the DSA dedicated stuff. And on my main channel, there's like a lot of other things also, like system design, HLD, LLD, general podcasts. So one dedicated channel for DSA beginners.
Okay, so there's Kirti Purswani and Kirti Purswani Code from Scratch. If you are, I think, doing DSA, please go to Code from Scratch. And if you're doing system design or design patterns or something, you're currently working most likely, then go for Kirti's. The channel name is Kirti Purswani. It's a difficult one to remember, I know, but yeah, this is something where she takes mock interviews on various subjects, and she also focuses on design patterns. I think recently she was doing that. Low-level design is something that she looks into. There are times when there's high-level design also. So it's another amazing channel. Please go there, subscribe, and feel free to hit that like button. Don't hit it twice, otherwise it goes away. So hit it once and stay patient. So thank you so much, guys, for coming. And thank you for making this possible at such short notice. Thank you for being engineers. You are doing a lot of good in the world. We need more engineers in the world. We need more doctors. We need highly skilled people who can do good in the world. So thank you for choosing this career and thanking for making all of this possible. See you then. Take care. Bye-bye.
Happy Engineers Day again to everyone.
Happy
Have a
Thank you,
Engineers Day.
Gaurav, for doing
Bye-bye.
this.